The Honorable Member for Nalolo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. This is indeed an interesting topic. Honorable Minister, just to thank you for your ministerial statement, it's good to hear some other things we never had. Madam Speaker, I just want to clarify one thing which I feel the Minister should be clear about. And I'll say this, ZCCMIH is under IDC. IDC is owned by government. So it does not matter the share value in Mopani, as long as ZCCMIH has shares in Mopani, GRZ has shares in Mopani, and the people of Zambia. So, Madam Speaker, when the Minister says Mopani was bankrupt, it had shares which had a share value. So the bankruptcy in technical terms can be described in monetary form, but the shares had value. So when shares are allotted, you issue new shares, which is maybe called a share in issue. Now the issuing of those new shares, the share in issue, is technically a transfer of those shares at a consideration. That is why the payment was made. Now, the share structure of Mopani has changed from 100%. It's now 49, 51. So looking at this, that there's been an allotment. When shares are allotted, it is new shares that are created. Now, those new shares that are created are transferred for a consideration. Now, Article 210 of the Constitution is clear that that must be subject to parliamentary approval. So, can the Minister clarify? Does this allotment he's referring to mean that the new shares had no share value? I would like to submit this.
Thank you. The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Madam Speaker, just the last part. I missed the last part.
Honorable Member, for Nalolo, you can repeat the last part of your question?
Madam Speaker, in simple terms, is the Minister confirming to this House that the new shares that were allotted, the share in issue, new shares, leaving those other shares, that have been transferred for a consideration, which is a payment, technically a transfer, and the Constitution says if there's a disposal or transfer, it must come. So is he submitting to this House that those shares had no share value?
The Honorable Minister of Mines and Minerals Development.
Madam Speaker, thank you very much, Honorable Member. I just gave the value of the shares that were allotted as 83, I said 83, $86.33 per share. I thank you, Madam Speaker.
Order. Honorable Minister, maybe you can just clarify. The Honorable Member for Nalolo was saying, in accordance with Article 210 of the Constitution, any disposal of share or transfer should be subjected to approval by Parliament. So then why wasn't this brought to Parliament?
Madam Speaker, thank you very much. Madam Speaker, I have made clarity why there was no Article 210 invoked during this transaction. I made it very, very clear. I think the Honorable Member, you can even have access to the statement. I made a very clear statement as to why. I think everybody was listening. As to why the shares, we did not invoke Article 210. Maybe I read through again, Madam Speaker.
Thank you. Maybe you can read through again, Honorable Minister.
Madam Speaker, on the issue why Parliament was not, I'll read very slowly, why Parliament was not part of this transaction. The Attorney General guided that the transaction did not require to be brought before this August House. The Attorney General's guidance was that the Mopani transaction did not need to be brought before Parliament because of the following. Number one, there was no sale, transfer, or disposal of a major asset. B, as defined by the Constitution, a major state asset includes a parastatal and equity held by the government. In this case, Mopani is not a parastatal. Before and after the transaction, it's not a parastatal. Further, government did not hold any equity, I repeat, in Mopani. As such, government was not capable of selling shares. I thank you, Madam Speaker.